And of course, the Illuminati, who are throughout the Western intelligence agencies, military, and this is not the Italian Illuminati, this is the Gnostic Illuminati, and they want meritocracy, rule by the people who are the best, people who work their way up the system, not people who are born into it and have it given to them even though they are often not very bright. That is not a good way to have a planet run. They want a transparent pyramid that anybody can climb to the top and everybody can see how they got there and why they got there. We don't want hidden people using secret societies, murder, bribery, and lies to rule us for selfish purposes. Those days are over.
Just one last thing, and this is a little bit different. It concerns the secret of the Illuminati. And the only other time I've been on video was with Benjamin, and what I said was that the great secret the Illuminati are keeping is that the Abrahamic God is in fact Satan, which is of course absolutely true. But we have known this for thousands of years, ever since the ancient Gnostics, that the God of the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims is none other than the devil. However, the real secret for 14,000 years that the Illuminati have kept protected is evidence which incontrovertibly proves the existence of a technologically advanced pre-flood civilization. I'm talking about Atlantis. They were on par with our own technology. And this has been totally erased from our history. And why has this happened? Well, obviously, so they can insert this devil, and in that way brainwash and control the human race, which they have done exceedingly well. But we have preserved these secrets, and we have the evidence, and we will present the evidence, which proves the existence of Atlantis. Well, they've had their chance to surrender, and it looks like they're not going to take it. So we're going to force them to surrender. And just finally, I have a message. Where am I speaking? Over there. And this is to Queen Elizabeth directly. Aunt Elizabeth, Isis is very upset. She wants her crown back.
Hello, I'm Benjamin Fulford, speaking in Tokyo on April 24th, 2012. Today I'm going to function as a journalist and I'm going to interview a gentleman who has called himself by various names over the years I've known him. Richard Sorge, he used the name of a famous Russian spy in Japan during World War II. Zarek is another name he's used. Now he calls himself Alexander Romanov. Now, I know that when you approached me, you came to me and you said that you had 70 kilograms of marijuana, and that if I did not introduce the Yakuza, I would be killed. And so right away, I knew from that this is not just some random guy, coming to me. And I'd like to know, who told you to come to me with 70 kilos of dangerously narcotic laced marijuana?
We both know, Benjamin, that is not the true story. However, the case of the 70 kilograms of marijuana is true. No one told me to come and threaten you or anything like that. That situation just evolved. I used to be, before all these crazy things started happening, I shouldn't really talk about this, but I used to be in the smuggling business. And through that business, I got to know various underground kind of people who were connected to various intelligence agencies. MI6, CIA, Mossad, Freemasons, you name it. So that happened pretty much at the same time that I was approached by the Gnostic Illuminati.
And you approached me just after I had made a speech in front of the Yamaguchi Gumi, the world's largest crime gang headquarters, in a desperate attempt at the time to prevent them from killing me, because they had tried several times and were getting closer and closer.
Many people want to kill you, doesn't it?
Not anymore. Not anymore, fortunately. But at the time, yes. And right after that, you came to me. So you told me that you were called to Thailand and you met someone from the Special Air Service there.
First of all, I did not approach you. We were introduced by a mutual friend who I later found out turned out to be a junior member of the Gnostic Illuminati. So it was just, I wasn't aware of anything. I didn't even know who you were. And on top of that, I didn't have any interest whatsoever in any conspiracy theories. And in the time that I had known you, until all these really strange things started happening, to tell the truth, I just thought you were another crazy person, obsessed with these crazy conspiracies until...
Yeah, and I would like to point out that there's been a systematic campaign to say that I'm a drug-crazed former journalist who lost it somewhere. And not only that, they actually tried to get me to take various drugs. But anyway, I understand from all that they've done to me and you that there's some very seriously dangerous people who feel threatened by what we're doing.
Well, for one, there is definitely a smear campaign. There's absolutely no doubt about that, directed towards me as well as towards you. As far as dangerous people go, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know, do you want me to go into this, or specific questions? Or?
Well, look, I mean, how many murder attempts have you survived?
2 that I know of.
Okay, 6 that I know of, all right? This is the kind of people we're dealing with. And the police authorities have been told about all this stuff, and they've been told about the 70 kilos too, of course. Also, I'd like you to know that one of my colleagues was on the phone with Tony Blair, who was bragging that they're going to put me in jail and you in jail on drug charges. That was a trap for both of us.
If they could kill us or put us in jail, we would have been dead a long time ago.
Yes.
Simple as that. The simple fact is that they can't, because we are protected at the very highest possible level. Because we are a serious danger and threat to these evil Kabbalists running the planet.
Yeah, in your case, it's the Gnostic Illuminati. In my case, the first people who came to offer me protection were the the red and the blue, or what's known in the West as the triads. And they're not necessarily equal to Chinese mafia or Chinese gangsters. They're not the same. It's more like the Chamber of Commerce, which has in their Rolodex people who offer specialized services, some of which may be falling into a gray zone, but they themselves are not a criminal organization. But anyway, the other thing I want to ask, because this is quite different from how I think, you put out a book with the title 666, and you've sometimes referred to yourself as the Antichrist. Now, a lot of people out there find this disturbing and take it in very negative terms. So tell me, why would you choose such a provocative title for your book, and why do you call yourself the Antichrist?
I guess I must just be a evil, despicable person. Why else? Well, you see, anyone who knows anything about all these conspiracies and evil cabals and all that will know that the official Illuminati communication is a website called the Armageddon Conspiracy. Anyone can look this up. I urge you to do so. It can be found at www.armageddonconspiracy.co.uk. Now, this website is quite simply see, this is the parts I have to cut out. I can't do it properly.
All right.
What it is, it's the most comprehensive body of knowledge, both mainstream and esoteric, on the planet, including historical, philosophical, psychological, religious, scientific, mathematical. It's just an astounding body of knowledge.
Okay.
But it has one drawback, and that drawback is that it's simply way too large. It's well over 2 million words. And this, let's not forget, is the official communication page of the real Illuminati. So forget about all these conspiracy theorists who talk about, you know, who are they, Jones and girlfriend. They don't have a clue about who the real Illuminati are. What they need to do is have a look at this website, right? I've already given information for that.
Yep.
Now, if I can just finish. Because this is such a large amount of information and knowledge, it would literally take someone months to finish reading through all this. And so, when all this stuff started happening about 2 years ago, the author of this website asked me, requested, that I provide a smaller, more easily readable version of the Armageddon Conspiracy website. And that is what turned out to be the book 666.
Why is it called 666?
Because,
I mean, that's supposed to be the number of Satan or something.
Well, that depends on who you listen to. I mean, we say a lot of things that, you know...
You believe that the God, the Abrahamic God in the Bible is actually Satan, is that right?
It's not a question of belief, it's a question of knowledge. I mean, we have evidence and proof, we can prove this.
And you wish to overthrow this God?
Yeah, well, we are all gods. We have been enslaved by this belief in these false and fake religions. And just to finish, as to the why 666, no particular reason, except that the book 666, which, by the way, hasn't been published yet because there is currently some dispute going on about the legal ramifications. But to be perfectly honest, such a book cannot be published by an English publisher because it is so controversial. I mean, if it was to be published, there would be a revolution tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
But just to finish, the reason it's titled 666 is because it has 10 chapters, and each of the chapters is precisely 666 kilobytes.